My name's Colin Bransgrove, Executive Officer of MIA. Welcome. As you know, today we're just going to focus on the products and services of our three major software providers in the marina sector: Pacsoft, Storm and Micropower's Marina Focus. Basically what we've done, I hope you're aware in terms of the timetable, so just to introduce Pacsoft, our first presenter, I'd like to introduce Chris Thomas, the Managing Director of Pacsoft. Chris, and Brett Bolton. Brett's known to many of you, Director of Perilous Marine and a consultant with Pacsoft. Perilous Marine is the Australian agent for Pacsoft, as well as providing general business and risk management services in the industry. Pacsoft International formed in way back in 1989 and is dedicated to providing superior marine industry software and services. The company is based in Auckland, and it is there that Pacsoft solution is being developed by its in-house software development team in conjunction with their global customers. So thank you guys, and over to you for the next 45 minutes. Thanks, Brett.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks all for coming along today. Pacsoft, obviously, as Colin mentioned, has been around for quite some time before I got into the industry myself. My background started back up in Cairns in the early 2000s, and at that point in time, as a manager of a marina facility up there, I went out to the market and had a look at all the products that were available to the industry to help assist manage that particular facility. After the review of the systems that were available at the time, I settled on Pacsoft for a number of reasons, and one of those key reasons was, after discussions with Chris, really that they were willing to develop this software continually with meeting the demands of the industry, and that's been continual since that day that I got involved there, and I've since then rolled it out in several marinas that I've been involved in since. And more recently became the Australian agent for the product itself. So that's a little bit of a background there. Give more a bit about, but it obviously came about, when was the internet around? Or how much
after we started work in 1989, I think, well before the internet was a player in commercial software. So we've been around in the marina business a long time. And around about the year 2000, that's when we really dedicated ourselves just to the marina industry. As you can see there, we started marketing internationally in about year 2000 and started achieving sort of slow penetration around the world. And we're now in over 20 countries with a wide mixture of marinas, from sort of marinas with heavy overseas sort of transients, to lake-based marinas where they hardly do any sort of work. Once a year they invoice people. And then we moved on to getting involved in boatyards and job costing, and also then moving into sort of marina clubs where we interfaced with club membership systems and food and beverage systems. So that's the only business we're in, that's what we focus on. And if we go to there, and well, I guess the other thing is we established a series of partnerships with people like Brett around the world, who actually knew the industry from a business point of view and had the skills necessary to help us implement and operate at a business level as well as a software level. But during that period, we've gained a lot of experience and a lot of feedback, which we keep rolling back into the product, which we keep doing.
Yeah, so Chris was highlighting there that marinas and the marine industry is Pacsoft's only focus. Similar to myself, with consulting to the marine industry, and Pacsoft and that software is one of the key business tools that I basically suggest to clients to improve their businesses from an operational, financial, risk management perspective. It helps bring a lot of things together there. So as Chris mentioned, now Pacsoft's in over 20 countries around the world. 80 sites, so we do get a lot of input from all those different users and user types, from boatyards, club membership, everyone. One thing that I'm sure, Chris, you've experienced have you come across two marinas that do the same thing?
Yeah, I guess that's one thing we will keep stressing throughout, is each marina business is unique. It took me a while to understand why or how. It's not like any other business. And of course your business is related to the bit of water that you're on, what that water is connected to, the land that you have around you, the available land, and the population that's around that marina. And it has a huge impact and causes variation in practically every business. So really every install we do, there are some sort of level of customization that goes on. We've made our product very customizable, and you can set a lot of parameters to configure it to the business. So it is a very complex business, as you'll be well aware. Not only are you renting out spaces or selling leases and running condominium style operations with body corporates, you're working in a dangerous environment, you're delivering, reticulating electricity and water, and sometimes telecommunications. You're managing land-based tenancies. If you're running a boatyard, you're lifting boats in and out of the water and storing them, which is relatively sort of technical and can be a dangerous activity. You've got staff that are working out a dangerous area. You've got customers that have access to all this. So it's a very complex business that you gentlemen are involved in, and requires sort of quite comprehensive software to actually manage that.
So as we were mentioning, we've got an international customer base where they all provide input for the continual improvement of the program. And that's, as I said, from my involvement early in the piece to now, has been continual. Suggestions are taken on board. If it is something which definitely will benefit all users, it gets picked up and rolled out effectively. Just a couple of examples of key sites around the world and what they've got out of that. A couple of these, Chris, you'll have more knowledge on this side here.
Marina Projects are a marina consulting company. The staff to the left, MDL, which is the United Kingdom's biggest marina operation with about 30 marinas. They set up their own company and have been very successful and do consulting around the world. One of the more recent consulting jobs was a master plan for Westhaven, the Auckland City Council, for the redevelopment of the waterfront area relating to the marina and the marina businesses. They've been a long-term customer of ours, and they manage two marinas themselves, or one marina, which is a major rejuvenation of one of the oldest ports in the UK, up in the northwest. And they run a major sort of shipyard out of Portsmouth with a 180-ton travel lift, just the biggest in the area. So they do a lot of big lifts and a lot of boat repairs.
What would have been the main key benefit of Pacsoft for these guys?
It was the integration with accounting, because they're a management company. They're actually not present on site. They were after something that gave them tight control of the business and allowed them to manage it remotely and a good feeling that they were in control of what was happening when they were not on site.
Sydney Surf Yacht Marina, they're a recent client that we've just basically done an installation for in the last couple of months down close to the Roselle Bridge, obviously the old Olympic site, if you're not familiar with it. So they manage the super yacht moorings straight out, or berths straight out the front of where they're located. They also have Snails Bay dolphins that they manage there, Berries Bay moorings, Campbell Cove. So they've got a number of little sites around that they need to manage and invoice and track, obviously, occupancy. A big key thing for these guys is electricity, because these big boats suck a lot. And you're talking about a large quantum of chargeable revenue, but also if you mess that up and don't actually charge it, you've got a cost element there because of the consumption rate so high. If something goes wrong and they're not invoicing correctly, it costs them in the hip pocket quite significantly. So that was a major key element for these guys is the way to manage all those electricity meters and be able to sign different boats, and on a day they could change over to a different boat and someone else plugs in somewhere else. So that was a key element for these guys to move forward, as well as just their overall management of their business. They integrate in with the accounting package is always an important thing for our clients on how they're integrating into that. There's over 20 packages now that Pacsoft integrates into, and basically if someone comes up and says I've got package XYZ which is not currently on the list, then it's a matter of customising and looking at that.
That would be the most frequent customisation we do for customers. Each business has different ownership often, a different accounting system, and they may have other businesses related to the actual marina operation. So customising to a different back-end financial system is really one of the most common things we do. We originally developed the concept that we have our own sort of like financial package, and it's relatively easy for us to actually export either transactions. If we're like in a club or resort environment, transactions can go out be added onto the resort bill or the club bill, or we can interface directly to the general ledger for basically P&L reporting and balance sheet reporting. And alongside that, we can do quite a bit of pass across in some accounting packages. We can pass across a bit of operational data to take advantage of the back-end financial report writers. So you can actually be reporting operational data like boat sizes, berth sizes, along with your financial P&L and your budget information.
115 Marina in Singapore. If you've been there, it's quite an impressive site. I've been lucky enough to do a tour there myself. Key sort of benefit that they got out of the system?
When the marina opened, there were, should we say, a lot of deals done in the marina to get boats into it. It wasn't really very well managed for the first probably 5-7 years of the operation. Consequently, the customers were more or less sort of dictating what was happening and what they were paying. They've got some new management involved in running the marina. They elected to put Pacsoft in, and this was to give them control over the billing. It's enabled them to lift the prices, establish proper contracts for the customers, and establish regular billing. It's interfaced to the back-end membership club system, so the marina charges are automatically passed through to the club for members. And for visitors, the marina office is now taking responsibility and has the ability to accurately bill visiting yachts. And a lot of those visiting yachts are actually the super yachts. They can handle up to, I think, about 450 or 60 metres. So some of those bills are quite substantial. And the boats are coming and going in that region quite a lot. So it's been very successful. They've actually also now probably increased the marina. They've added another 100-odd berths, and they're looking to expand out and possibly manage other marinas in the region. And again, based on using the sort of Pacsoft system, which gives them the controls they need.
You mentioned that, Chris, on the billing side. I've experienced a lot of the implementations I've done, either in the marinas I've managed myself or other marinas, that the payback for the software is normally in the vicinity of 6 to 12 months. It's pretty quick because it's just on the implementation we normally find a hell of a lot of stuff which is incorrectly billed, not billed at all. So you're recovering those costs. Then you've also got obviously your accounting or staffing levels that can be reduced quite often or minimise some of those processes, so you can get some cost savings as well. Able Point's another good example of the software having the capability of managing a very intense sort of operation. This one in Cairns, which I was involved in, probably two of the highest turnover marinas I've been involved with, as in you'll have 30, 40 boats in and out on a day through the commercial sort of dealings and the commercial boats, and even more so on big events. They do, for example, 2 dock walks, so they'll go out and check the boats twice a day, and that's how they basically charge out, because the boats are coming and going that fast. They've got to keep track of them.
Well, to give you an idea, you'll be well aware of the concept of flight controller. They actually have a marina controller. Anybody in the office can take an incoming boat request. They actually enter it into a wait list, and they have one person that's sitting there watching the wait list, allocating berths to the boats. They've got more boats in the marina than there are berths, because a lot of the third of the fleet there is actually charter boats. So they spend a lot of time actually out in the marina, and they're coming in to refuel, restock, and change passengers. We developed a customised solution for there, where because of this high level of movement, the marina operator is not necessarily being robust businesses, that they prepay berthing. And so when they come in for half a day, that just simply gets deducted from their prepaid bill. And then when their prepaid bill is getting down to a certain level, then obviously the marina then is off chasing them and invoicing them for more money, more prepayment to cover them through the next period. As Brett said, it is a very sort of, it's probably, in terms of boat movements, it's one of the highest we've got, and it's only a 600 berth marina.
For yield management and making sure you're capturing the revenue, the software is obviously a fundamental part, an important part of the business. Also, some customisations that took place there for their fuel system, which you can integrate in from a transactional point of view. Security, which is just taking place at the moment, the access card system, so that the software integrates not only with accounting packages, but also if you've got other third-party ancillary systems, it can integrate with that and be basically like the master controller of those particular systems. So that's something which these guys, again, they got high fuel sales volume, and also just not only volume in litrage, but volume in number of customers.
They also run 2 marina offices, sort of 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. So both offices are equipped with the system.
Fiji was just quickly, I noticed when Chris, you mentioned there, they got in-ground cyclone holes. Tell me about it.
Oh, well, I guess guys up north, when one of the most safest ways of storing a yacht is dig a hole in the ground and stick the keel in the ground and then pack the earth around it. So that's one of the storage facilities that Denner offer, and it's very flexible because you can, at the end of the season, you fill in the hole and you've got to use the land for storing land-based boats.
Public bed has a sulphate soils or anything with it?
I don't worry about Fiji.
Suntex will quickly, this is a major project which is happening this year.
Suntex Marina, the guys who run Suntex came out of IGY, when IGY sort of collapsed a few years ago. They seemingly tapped into a source of method of funding. In the last 2 years, they've acquired over 18 marinas. They're on track to, they reckon, have 30, be up to 30 in the next 18 months. Some of these are quite major marinas with full major service boatyards, like Fort Lauderdale. They did obviously a selection process of looking at software and selected us as being the best software to meeting their needs. And we're working with them on implementing through the marina chain. I think we're up to about sort of 5 or 6 marinas at the moment implemented. And that'll progress as we work through the existing marinas and as they're acquiring new marinas. So that's a very exciting project for us to be involved with, and we're doing very well.
One of the other key elements or benefits of the software is the reporting capability. There's a number of standard reports the software does, but in the latest platform, you can basically customise almost any report for the individual marina, down to the berth, the occupancy, revenue, yield, management of that berth itself, or on the hard stand, the same sort of thing. So depending on your requirements or what you want to see as a manager or owner of the berth of the marina, you can basically tailor-make or customise a report which will do that job for you.
One direction here is we're moving into using Excel for reporting and Excel pivot tables. And if it's not a term or tool you're familiar with, I really strongly recommend it. It provides a huge amount of flexibility for you to analyse and look at your data. And we're increasingly moving to using Excel. They can be on the menus, to the users they just look like reports. They select a menu and the report opens. But you can, each marina's got different berth sizes, different berth types, different products that you want to look at. And with Excel it becomes very straightforward for sort of providing customised reporting for each individual marinas. And it's a really fantastic tool. The one on the bottom left there was actually a new marina. They were taking over, the red lines was the revenue. So we've got what we think is a fairly unique feature at the moment. We're tying revenue and occupancy together. It's actually generated in the system on a daily basis, and typically we're running a 2-year period forward and backwards, so you can look forward or backward in time. That marina was taking over a marina that had annual contracts, So as the year went through, more and more of the contracts got renewed, and so the sort of occupancy and revenue level effectively picked up in the system.
Is that farm on point before and after Pacsoft?
I don't know one
Sorry?
report out.
I'd like to see that sort of report.
The other report is that, I mean, a lot of the new mariners we do, they're very interested in berth sales, and some of them you're doing an analysis of basically sales pipeline. How did you hear about us? You know, what's inquiry? Have we sent a brochure pack out? Have we received a contract? Is all the information on it? Is the customer paid? So we can run little sales pipeline reports for reporting up to management how well the sales team are doing in terms of selling new berthing contracts. And again, that's just simply done with using our Smart Note feature, our Quick Query feature, and linking it to Excel for presentation.
So the linking into Excel or Microsoft products, Excel is one of those through the reporting capability. The mail merge through Microsoft Word is another key element which most of our users get a lot of benefit out of. A good example there is the old insurance renewals when people's insurances are expiring. Is you can set up a template within the system, and then every month just roll out run a report, and it just picks up all those clients that are going to expire, and you just bulk email out to those clients, hey, your insurance is about to expire. Same sort of thing, data management with warning letters, things like that. So it can be a huge time saver on those elements. It also triggers out and will email invoices automatically through either a monthly process, batch process, or individually. I know I rolled that out in one marina which was averaging 600 invoices a month. You can imagine 600 envelopes, stamps, time taken to actually physically do that. There was quite a bit of a cost there, and the saving straight away was quite substantial on a monthly basis from a resourcing point of view, as well as direct costs of stamps and envelopes and paper. So,
also SMS, sending out bulk SMS email warnings about storms and things like that. So the same facility is used to do SMS.
Yeah, so some of the innovations that has come online over time. Invoicing might be just easier if you just roll through a couple of, say, three key points. Or
I guess the innovation we believe we led the world in is basically the operations staff can just make sure the right boat's in the right berth with the right dates, and the system automatically knows whether it needs to be invoiced, whether it has been invoiced. You can shorten or extend either date, and the system knows what it needs to credit or further invoice. So the staff don't need to think about what they need to charge. Once the line's there where you select the tariff or product that you want to charge, your operational staff just need to say that boat's in that berth from that day to that day. You're doing a dock walk, which is actually confirming that the staff are getting it right, and the system is automatically in control of what should be invoiced or what should be credited. So that's what we call our smart invoicing feature, and that's we were the first in the world to launch that. We were the first to launch a mobile sort of cash sale ability on the marina with our Pocket MMS. We did that a long time ago for a large marina in the UK. We do a lot of customization, as Brett's already said. We recognise that the marina businesses are different and people need different things, and so we've done a lot of customization. Our visual marina, I think, was the first. We draw the boats are actually drawn to scale, and we can have different shapes. Oh, here we go.
so that's an example there of.
We'll come on to more of that.
Sorry?
We'll come back to that.
Come back, you'll come back
Okay.
to that.
We're now, after I guess 14 years, we think we have a really good understanding of your business and the business area. And in that 14 years, as we've sort of added more and more functionality to the product, it's led to it looking complicated, of course, when a first-time user looks at it. So we're bringing out a brand new product called NG, or Pacsoft NG, where we're bringing in a lot cleaner interface, but it still has the ability to easily open up and drill into more information as and when you need it. So that if you're a marina and you're running boat service or you're doing boat sales, then you want to hold a lot more information on the boat than a simple, wet berth marina that has a few transients coming and going for a few days. So that information is kind of unfoldable when you need it. We're now, the biggest thing we had, I guess the request we've had is, when I get a new boat in, I want my staff to do this, do that, invoice them, collect the money, take it to security deposit, charge them a locker fee. There's a series of business rules that vary by marina. So with the Wizards, what we're bringing in now is the ability to basically drag a boat from one berth on the Vision Marina to another and have it pop up and basically say, oh, that boat's plugged into electricity, we need to take a final reading. And if we're interfaced to systems like the Pulse metering with MTech, we can actually automatically read that, turn that meter off. When you drop the boat on the new berth, we're automatically picking up the new meter readings, and we're allocating them and then opening the meter and then taking the reading. We can, if they've got security cards and the security area changes. With the Wizards, we've got the ability to close off the old access to the security area, open up the new one. And the whole concept of the Wizard is making that process automated, so the users don't have to remember, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do that. So that's probably the biggest request we've had is to bring in these Wizards. Same on if you're running lease ownership. When you sell a lease on a boat, if it's the owner's not using it, it's sublet, you've got a rental management, you're renting it out to somebody. When you're giving rental credits to the owner of the berth, when that lease changes, you need to kind of work down the chain, unwind it, and wind it back up to say, well, now that renter that's still on that berth, his rental credits are now going to a new and different owner at the point that lease was transferred and sold across. So we see Wizards and the user interface being a sort of major direction that we're heading. And we've all seen CNN with a big picture. The idea is you have a big picture of the marina with a boat, you can go with your thumb, finger, move it across, drop it, type in a few numbers and you move the boat. So that's the type of picture we have of where we want to take this product to. Another major innovation right now we're doing is we're taking our mobile marina to the next step, where you can go out with a device, one of the devices like this, and you can go out and do bookings, online sales. You can have an integrated credit card machine strapped to your hip, and you can do PCI compliant FPOS and credit card transactions on the marina. It does not need to be online. One of the obviously issues with a lot of marinas is the size of the marina, or if you're on board a boat, you may not have access to your marina Wi-Fi. So you need this ability to get on offline. So we've developed a new synchronization routine that will allow the data to be stored, captured locally, and as soon as it comes back into Wi-Fi range, it'll automatically sync in the process. Other uses, take it down on the fuel dock. It's a portable, temporary fuel dock point of sale system. At the end of the shift, you can bring it back to the office. If you're running swing moorings, you can go out on the moorings in the boat. You can go out and do your billing and charging from the marina boat, and then as soon as you get back to the marina, it'll sync off all the data. Smaller marinas, staff can take it home. If there's any issues, either guys get calls at night, an emergency, you've got access to all your data, and you can even take bookings. In the future, we're going to take that out to the service yards, so that where you've got people working out in boats, they can actually record time, record part requests, or consumables used on the job. They can record them while they're on the job. You can have people traveling, like some of the marinas, have a service yard, that people actually travel a boat. They might travel 20, 30 miles to go and work on a boat. So they can do all that remotely while they're out there, and as soon as they come back into the boatyard area, it'll sync up the data. And the other thing we've got on our books is a marina-specific asset system, which is tailored to building the asset. And you can take things like pedestal as well. You can describe one pedestal, and you then want to replicate that on every berth or whatever. So the main benefits of the asset schedule will be preventive maintenance schedule, or compliant schedules, managing that they're done. Obviously, we're going to be able to do refurbishment forecasting for what's going to cost me to rebuild this marina in 20 or 30 years, and replacement sort of each year, help you with the budgeting, what assets are due for replacement next year. So those are new projects and innovations that we're bringing out in the next year or so. This mobile one, we're about to launch that in the next couple of months.
So yeah, continual innovation for the industry, as I mentioned before. This is just one of the examples of the visual side of the system. That's just a bit of a mock Marina pile up there. The unique thing about this system is that it is drawn to scale, so we'd normally get your plan in to scale, and then the software itself draws each individual boat and berth onto that map. So with that, you can see here, wording you might be able to pick up, but that boat there is larger than that boat, and that is physically, if you walk down to that dock, that's what you would see as well, an actual larger boat. So with that, you can easily manage yield, and also, hey, that boat really, from a risk perspective, shouldn't be there, it's too big. Or this one here, really we need to put that into a smaller berth. So it really gives a snapshot of what you've got in there from a yield perspective and operational. It's also colour coded, so you can see within here, yellow's all good, it's rented, it's in there, it's in the invoicing system effectively. It means that it's booked, so it's a booking in the system, but they haven't arrived yet, most likely, and you need to follow them up and see if they're coming or they've been delayed. So it really prompts the operator on key actions through this sort of screen. You've got green and blue, which is departing, arriving. So again, from visually you can see, oh, I've got a boat coming to A32 today. The dock master knows they've got to do something about it. And with the little green nose, that means that we've got a utility meter tied to that. So
and it's switched on. If we've got the interfaces working like we have with Pulse, it's red when the meters are off, and it's green when the meters are on. And if you've got multiple meters, it'll split the triangle at the front of the boat.
So a really good visual snapshot for users, but also management. I've put it in recently at a large facility up north, where the CEO of the business wants this. So he just wants to see the pretty picture and see how many boats he's got in from a visual, because you can just say, oh, we're at about 90% occupancy just by a glance without actually running any reports, which is a great business tool. Here's another example, obviously of a larger marina, but within that, the system, you can zone in, you can zoom in on areas, or it's got multi-map capability. So if you've got a large site, you can have like a home page, and then you can hyperlink the different areas of that site, or if it's areas within a bay where there's different multi-location marina, same sort of thing, hyperlink bang to the next map. So it brings up, you've got the name there obviously. What's the hard stand about it, Chris?
We also display the results of the last dock walk. It's not a great example, it's something new I'm working on. But every time you go and do your dock walk, if you bring back the results from the mobile devices, it'll put the in-out status of the boats underneath as where the hard stand showing. So it's sort of it shows you where as of the last dock walk you did, was that boat in or out.
That follows through to obviously dry stacks. You're looking at the boat visually, conceptually from a different angle, looking at the bum of the boat, as opposed to overhead, which is the same for your hard stand spaces are overhead. So this one here, again, all to scale, so it's giving height, beam, the yield management of that particular element. Flexibility, really, the maps get customised to whatever facility, so it doesn't have to be straight 90 degrees sort of thing. It's any angle at all can be accommodated.
You can paint for hard stands where the boat position is obviously variable depending on the size of the boat and how long it's there. You can actually put the boat physically where it is, so you can actually have a view of your hard stand, even though there's no allocated sites, and it'll vary job by job as the boats come and go, so you can actually visually see your hard standing area as well.
How does that work, Chris?
You have to place the boat. When you basically create a lift-out job, you can then pick that job up and say that boat is in that spot and drop it there. And it'll show there for the duration of the hard stand stay. So once the hard stand stays, if you like, ended and the boat's theoretically departed in the system, it just disappears from that visual map. So it does, obviously you need to tell the system where you've put the boat because it doesn't know that, so you do have to do that, but it's a mouse click.
Just quickly, this image here, you actually, this one with the in and outs from the dock walk that you mentioned before. From a yield management, you can just draw a line, you can see the small boats, large boats, so you can get that visual concept. The red one on the end means double booking effectively. So anything that's coloured other than yellow, quite often it's an action item. So someone's got to look at it, do something about it, so it stands out nice and bright, that someone needs to action that.
We've had major impact, especially in Asia, where the staff are not necessarily speaking English very well. As soon as the management has seen this visual marina, they've gone, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, because the managers know where the boats are and what's in the marina. As soon as they see it, they can see the admin system is not being kept up to date. And so it's been a major success factor, in that, especially in that region. But generally, as Brett said, managers, they get the picture, they can look at the marina, they know what's what. It's a very informative tool.
Arrivals, departures reports, so the system, you can have that visually on the screen. You also can run reports for your arrivals, departures on a daily basis. I've had marinas where that's part of the start of day process, print out your arrivals, print out your departures, what are the available berths, and you give that to the dock master and he runs off for the day basically, and he can allocate on the spot and knows what's going on, catch lines, let boats go. So all those sort of tools are right there, ready to go. Booking periods, so you can view, normally the view is set up for today, always the current date, but you can also view the map in the history and in the future, and also over a period to see availability. So it's a very intuitive sort of system for making the bookings, which we can, we're a bit tight for time here, but outside, if you want to see, we can show you how quick and easy it is. It's really just hovering over the berth, clicking on it, create booking, and then going through that, an actual, like Chris says, almost a wizard sort of process. The expansion forms that Chris was mentioning a bit earlier. This is a part of the resolution here, but you've got, with the boat, is a good example because you've got potentially a hell of a lot of information you want to capture. Insurance details is compressed into one little area, which will just show the expiry date, but if you just click on the expansion, it'll open up to, right down, now put in the insurer, the details of that insurer, the policy value, all those sort of things, if the marina wants to capture that. It's really up to you whether you want to capture that information or not, but this gives you the tool. As soon as you put it in the system, then you've got reporting capability, because every field that's entered can be attacked from the quick query customised sort of reporting that you can build reports yourself. We've been through most of those there. Probably one of the other key thing was the point of sale that we did up at both Newport and down at Port Hacking, which is in with a Senyo point of sale system. In those clubs, food and beverage is a huge part of their business, and they want to be able to bring accounts across from a member up at the bar gets a beer. They want that to go through onto their account in Pacsoft. So Chris and his team created an interface to Senyo, and that's a live, real-time sort of scenario of data being brought across. If their account, they set an account limit. If they hit that account limit, sales stop. So it gives that power to the club to stop the use of the account or to continue. This one here has been a big innovation that I mentioned before, is this Move Boat Wizard. That visual map that we had up before, basically it's as easy as clicking on the boat, selecting Move Vessel, and then just hovering over the berth you want to move to, click again, and then this little wizard will pop up and say, this is the berth that's in now, this is where we're going, is that information correct, has it got meters, do you want to do an end meter reading, It spoon feeds the user to the next step, and that will then, from a financial point of view, pick up credits if you've shortened a booking period, and then invoice the new period. So some of the mobile sort of stuff, Chris?
Yeah, this is I guess the device I was talking about earlier. I guess other things we're introducing here, the ability to go and do a survey. So if people check out, you can go out and ask them, you do a survey, how to find the marina, where you're going, or when they check in, how did you hear about us? We're seeing a lot more marketing going on now. People want to understand your customers and target marketing more. Checklists for people, when check a boat in, have you checked the insurance, and you check if it's got a cruising permit. So various things like that now are becoming important. In some jurisdictions, we've got to collect information for customs or for the tourist office. So we're able to collect that information as the boat comes in. So that's what I talked about earlier.
This is an example.
That's an example of the screen. It's designed to obviously work on a mobile device with touch screen. And you can see that second line there, the little green anchor says we actually checked that boat in. So from here we can actually do a normal dock walk, recording of the boats in or out. We can record exceptions. We can take service requests from the customer. We can take operational information. There's a frayed mooring rope. There's rubbish on the pier again. So you can record all that information as you're going around using these sort of new type of mobile devices. And the other thing you can do from here is you can take it into actually a sales scenario. So if you've got casual sales, the marina I guess we've been doing this with for a while. They run a lot of, basically they get a team of students out in the summer and they send them out with these devices and they get boats coming in for 2 or 3 days and they're basically selling out on the marina. So I know what the next screen just takes us into the point of sale. So then you can actually sell berthing, you can sell electricity, if you like, $20 worth of electricity for a while. So anything the marina really sells at that point. And you've got the option, again, depending on where you are, you can actually have a direct interface to a PCI compliant FPOS and credit card machine. So you can just give the machine to your customer, he puts his card in, his number, and both transactions done in a very secure way. So we're seeing a lot more, I guess, in some of the more innovative marinas, a lot more sort of trying to take the services of the marina out to the customer and basically empower the marina staff to become much more customer service representatives than simply sitting behind a desk sort of dealing with people as they come in the office. Obviously that's a real high focus in the marinas that deal with the bigger boats.
One of the big areas of development over the last year has been the boatyard module in the system, and that continues to be developed like the rest of the software as well. In Australia, my experience from New South Wales to Queensland especially, the way that boatyards are managed are very different. In Queensland, it's quite often a lot more basic operations where it's just about the machine, haul out the boat, rent a bit of space for the guy, water blast, and that's basically it for the bulk of the facilities up there. In New South Wales, there's a lot more. No, we don't only just get them out of the water, we do the work, we anti-foul, we do some shipwrights work on it as well. So the detail required, obviously, if you're doing job and job costing in New South Wales, is at a far higher level required than Queensland, for example. I'm talking just generally, of course. So the system, basically there's been a lot of work done there on the job costing side, timesheet entry, inventory, as Chris said, because that sort of business is quite complex when you get into it, down to selling an anode and then the time taken for that anode to be put on, as well as the actual travel lift movement, booking that particular movement and how to manage that. But the software provides a diary grid sort of feature where you can make that booking of the machine, and then obviously the job card with all the details within that job card, with all the costing over time. Is there any key thing you want to point out within it?
No, I guess the profitability with running a service yard comes with your team leaders or your service managers having a really good understanding of the time that's been spent, the materials that have gone into that job, as the job is going day by day. Because once you finish the job and it's overrun by 100%, there's nothing you can do about it. So I don't know whether what we're doing, one of the customisations that was done for a yard in the UK, they've got about 40 plus technicians, if you like, laminators, painters, diesel mechanics, is they actually display the jobs on a big TV screen in the office. And they've got a little traffic light system that's, green, the job's tracking all right, orange, it's getting near the hours, and red, it's already gone over the hours, with taking into, they put in estimates to complete. It's really important when you're running a service yard that you understand at each step of the job, how's it tracking? Am I in trouble here already?
We've been, yes, Colin's given us the line up there. So the key sort of thing is, we're available out here for pretty much the rest of the day anyway, so please come and grab us anytime. We can give you an actual demo on the system and show you through bookings and the different parts of the system throughout the day at your leisure. Key sort of finishing note really is just, we focus on the industry, and that's what we really put our focus into, both Pacsoft and myself in the marina industry, and have made that decision back some years ago to do that.
And we recognise it's a complex business that requires a complex solution and requires customisation, and we hope we're delivering that.
Okay, thanks Chris and Brett, that was very informative. We've got 15 minutes now for any questions, so I'd encourage everyone. There's a heck of a lot to think about there. I'm sure there's plenty of questions, so let's make them at most of the 15 minutes up till 10:15. Any questions? Yep, the back, John?
Yeah, just to make sure that I've got it right, a boat comes into the marina, you book the boat in, you've then got all the if you're a past customer, you've got all the details of the client, their credit card details, the whole 9 yards. Then, if you have the interface with the pedestal, the power then gets booked directly to that boat or to the owner. Can that be taken out of his credit card as you go, or do you have to invoice?
You have to invoice, but you can set trigger dates.
I mean, if the owner's willing to let you,
no, you have to
rental that out of his credit card.
Yeah. So the system's obviously, when it's interfaced in with a pedestal, is receiving those readings, and then it's a matter of, okay, you can either have what we call like a batch run, which most marines do once a month. They'll want to invoice all their clients, including electricity, or you can drive that manually, or you can do it weekly if you choose to. So it's normally that you normally don't do a daily sort of charging of any service, because for the client it just becomes too overwhelming, too many invoices.
And it can read the water, invoice for water, can turn water and power on and off.
Yes, and it's all
and then you can also book for your boat to be pulled out by the treble lift and re-anti-foul and all that sort of stuff, all with that one package.
Yes.
All in one package, and it's all in the one customer account. So if they owe you money for a marina berth and you're about to haul them out, you might choose against that because they don't even get them out of the water because they're going to cost you more money. But yeah, no cash, no splash from a launching perspective.
And depending on your billing cycle for rentals, you might, if you're doing annual billing, you might still be invoicing monthly for the utilities.
Will Pacsoft allow for direct debiting? I mean,
yes.
I know a couple of marina owners that can happen.
Direct debit, and also credit card processing through a third party DPS package basically. And there's the other one. So you can, just like direct debit, you run a process on a monthly basis. Right, I want to hit all the cards or clients that I've indicated as credit card, whatever they owe us, bang, and it'll just do the transaction, and you've got it.
We push direct debit and credit cards a lot because you're dictating when you get the money, and also the system's automatically creating the receipt and allocating the receipt to the invoice. Things like BPay or direct crediting, where the customer's giving you the money, you've got to wait for them to pay you, and then you've got to do the work of actually entering the receipt. So we try and say it's much better to go to the automated direct debit or credit card processing methods for collecting your money. And most people seem very happy with it because they don't have to do anything. They've got a boat in the marina, they know it's there.
You can set The percentage too, if you fee on that card.
The surcharge, you mean?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, you can automatically apply surcharges on cards.
Which is very handy.
EG Mobile, have you got anything sort of, or is there anything in the pipeline for doing maintenance control system, e.g. your travel lift operator goes out in the morning, does his checks of the travel lift? Have you got a system where his checklist is on there, he can sign off on that checklist at the end of the day, put in anything that they find that maybe require to be done?
Yes, it's in the pipeline. We have a very simple one there at the moment where you can go yes, yes, yes. But to the stage of saying, enter the engine hours, there's the cut in the tyre or the strap's frayed, putting information, that'll come out in the future with that.
When in the future we're looking at? Future's a long time.
A future, it really depends on demand, Darryl, right? Where we are very, like prostitutes, we do work for, when people want something, we'll do it.
I'm going to use a different sort of phrase myself.
24/7, that's not a problem. Hope it doesn't hurt, Chris.
No, we're driven by demand, if you like. So we get customers who want something, we'll seriously, we look at doing it. We want to do this for our devices, but obviously the more need there is for it, the higher priority it gets. We unfortunately can't do everything we want to do when we want to do it. It does take time.
I suppose similar to Darryl's question about maintenance and tracking, you've got layouts obviously of our marinas, our properties, our buildings and that. Do you have a function for that to record our maintenance, what needs to happen, to generate work lists?
That's our new, what we call asset management system. So the main thing is that you need to get all the assets in there, and then you need to set up your preventive maintenance for each individual maintenance. So I need to check this every month or every quarter. And then it does produce a list. It's on screen at the moment, and if it's not done, it goes red. So you can basically have a schedule and go out, and you can record that you've done it.
And budgets and things like that as well.
We don't have budgets that we would tend to put that into the financial system, but we can hold, I guess, or every time you've done work on something, or we've got the warranty information, so you can see if that item's under warranty. And also things like Marina, where they've got to go out and count the seagulls on one of the outer breakwaters. As part of their resource consent, they had approved that the bird population wasn't affected. So every 3 months they've got to go out and count seagulls. So they need to remember to do that, right? And they're part of the Maury area. So they've got all these things they need to do, and they need to remember they need to do them. So our new asset system does allow you to put schedules of where you need to do activities. And they can be either asset-based or independent of just the schedule I need to do. A cleaning schedule, for instance, something like that. Yes.
EPA license renewal, things like that, you can all put that in. It depends how complex you want to go with it, because it really gets down to your own resourcing and manpower to put all the information. You can have a check Marina RMA, that could be the level that you're at, or it could be, right, I want to do each fender pole, bollard. So, of course, that requires more drilling in, and that's someone who's going to manage that side of things. So that's always the key is in the success of this software or any software package is you've got to apply the right resources to that and want to actually interface, because if you don't put the information into it, it doesn't know.
You can take it down to nuts and bolts. That's all you basically build up a parts explosion of the assets you want to manage.
Invoicing, guys, in the past, Chris, you and I've been through this in the past with the new NG system. How easy is it for the operator to customise the way in which the invoice reads?
Well, a lot of the information on the Marina is customisable.
Yeah.
The actual layout is, if you have the right bit you could buy a program, you could then change the layout. The program, unfortunately, is not.
So the end user doesn't get the choice of how he customises his invoice to look the way that his customers want to see it.
No. Well, he can if you bought. It's a crystal report. So if you buy a crystal report editor, you can do it, but it's a $1,500 purchase. So it's easier to say I want it over here. And we are offering multiple layouts now. So, you know, back on the statement, I think we've got 3 or 4 different statement layouts now. So it's a matter of just invoking that different layout.
But you can customise to a particular need.
Oh yes, yeah. I mean, we've done lots of. We do a lot of customisation. Sometimes it's a very small amount of work. It's not it's just moving a field, just having the tool to do it. That's the new system.
Any more questions? We've got 5 minutes. If anyone, now's the time to speak up.
Do you,
You're in? Go on.
No?
Yeah.
Do you do birth management, like as in if births are owned by private owners, half of our marinas owned by us and half owned by birth owners, and we've got to do disbursements every month?
Of course. Yeah.
So it does all that?
We call that rent credit. It's all automatic. Yeah.
Yep.
So the renters come and go, shorten, extend, the credits back to the owner.
And is it all automated, sending it out to the customer and the disbursements to the bank and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, it can be.
Okay.
Can
You
be.
take a commission for the
We do.
management?
Yes.
You can even do that on renters. So you have an owner, so basically not using his birth.
Yep.
You put a long-term renter, he goes away, you put another
A
renter on,
subletting,
you
yep,
can do
okay.
that.
Rightio.
And it all goes off the chain, if you like. And we've got various methods of how the credits are calculated, various options.
Yeah.
Can handle pooling if you're into that.
I was going to say, will it do different options like
Yes.
that? Because there's the GST issue with the 5.5%. We've got some pumpers
Yes,
that have
yes,
that. So.
we handle the Australian liveaboard.
Yeah, so that's with a rental. When you set up a new berth or new boat coming in, there's a little flag there just to tick, is that a liveaboard or not? And if it is, as soon as you get up to the 27 days, that next day, bang, it's at 5.5.
So it will change the fees automatically?
Yep.
And if you move the boat within the marina,
Yep.
there's a mechanism there so they don't get a clean start charging 10% again because they haven't moved out.
Yeah, yeah.
So it just continues on at 5.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you find, Chris, that people don't utilise MMS to its capabilities because they don't know how to use it?
Yes. Yeah.
And when are we going to get a training regime in place that can take individual block courses or whatever that we can send people to learn about quick queries, say, or whatever?
I guess there's 2 aspects of that, Darren. One is, as an industry, I make the comment you're not investing enough in training. All right, these systems and your business are complex. Our biggest problem, to be honest, is a lack of training over time as staff change. People's knowledge about the system sort of wanes. A lot of marinas, when you go to a course, like you go to an Excel course or something, you walk away with a bunch of examples that are no good. I've personally found the last 12 years, the best thing is you work with somebody on their system with their data and you leave them with actual examples of what they wanted to achieve. It has a much higher success rate than people on a course. Running block courses is difficult because it's hard to actually get a bunch of people that want to do the same thing at the same time, that want to spend the money at the same time. Your business is scattered, you're not nicely focused in central business districts, you're all over the country, you're small operations, you don't have a lot of staff. Getting people together is, we'd be more than happy to do it, but getting it together is just proves difficult. And
what's your daily rate? So we can book training. I think that's part of our issue.
Yeah, we were talking about doing that with Daryl, in the winter with some marinas because he's got, our daily rate is like 40 and 40 or something.
40, yeah. You got because again that distance of tyranny, quite often the expense of the travelling is face to face is what's
$10 an hour, aren't they?
$10 an hour.
Darren, there is another alternative which we're using quite a bit, is remote training.
That's right.
All right, but you can come on 2 hours, go through quick work, all right, and it's bringing you up on a training session next week.
The $1,500 a day plus your costs to get there.
Sorry,
If
for-
we've got 5 people there,
Yeah,
they're off
yeah,
running
yeah,
off
yeah.
Chris buys your lunch.
Hey, you.
Chris buys your lunch.
Oh, yes, sir.
Meat boys and sausage rolls. But Chris is right. We do a lot of web. I do a lot of web stuff myself because it's quick. It's bang. Someone goes, I've forgotten how to do that. They'll give me a call. We set up a time, and it can be a 10-15-minute session quite often. Not even that long because that reinforces that particular process that I've forgotten. and away you go. Most on implementation, the first 3 months is quite often the most intense of I've forgotten how to do this, I want to do that, different to what we told you in the first place sort of scenarios. So that's when we get a lot of impact of a large site up in Newport did. First 3 months there was a lot of toing and froing. After that I haven't heard from a training demand, haven't had anything for the last 18 months often. But they've got good internal processes as well.
That's probably how we're at now, but it's to utilise the system more than what we're used to doing. That's
And I say
annual, you know, training,
Yeah.
you know, consulting session, and we've got out and doing this, what can we do better, you know?
So if we got 5 Marinas, could we book you for a week?
Sure,
Split the
yeah, no, we're obviously we're really keen to do it, we just want to cover costs effectively, you know, to allow us to do it.
Our costs are just time based. So if you have 2 people or 20 people, it's the same. So they're definitely from economy.
The other thing is you obviously need to be prepared to share data, if you like, in situations.
No, I was just meaning that we'll get you over here and then you'll go
Yeah,
to
yeah,
the Marina and then you can go off and do you
I mean,
someone else.
in the training,
their own system. I think it's important to do your own
that's
system. This is what we custom.
Just a quick one, Chris, more of a statement or an observation and a question. With the ability to be able to turn on and off pedestals from the office, that will do away with the expensive key card system. I was in Turkey recently, and the Turks must be pretty clever because they've worked out, or the boat owners have worked out, if they dip the card into the water and then put it into the reader, within 2 days you get free power. So I see a lot of use for being able to read the meter and turn the meter on and off from the office.
I've heard a lot of stories about prepaid cards not working very well, with people doing analysis to what they were collecting and what they were using. There seem to be issues.
And I within 2 days and you got free power.
Okay, we might need to finish up there. Sorry, guys. Yeah, we're just over time. So you can ask questions during the break, obviously. We've got 25 minutes for morning tea, and then we come back in. Can everyone just thank our 2 presenters? Thank you. Just before we break, the toilets are on this level, so you just go out the door, turn left, and they're down about 15 metres. Since we started, I'd just like to mention that 3 of the MIA directors have joined us: Andrew Chapman, our president, John Spragg, and Stefan Bezecki. Stefan's from Yaringa Boat Harbour, and Andrew's from Marina Hindmarsh Island. John's from Bellingham Marine. So thank you. And also Samantha Soprane has also joined us, Samantha from Marmont Point. Thank you. So enjoy morning tea. If everyone can be here, back in here ready to go at 10:45, 1 to 11, that'd be great. When we've got Storeman to present. Thank you. Thanks, guys.